Hello everyone, I'm Frank, and welcome to Frank Puzzles. And this is today's very hard puzzle. It is called Elevation Don't Go to My Head by Math Pesto. And here are the rules. We have normal Sudoku rules apply, which means in every cell in the grid, place a single digit from 1 through 9 such that there are no repeats in any row, column, or designated 9-cell region. Each cell is either a water or land, and a group of orthogonally connected land cells form an island, and digits may not repeat within an island. What is an orthogonally connected land group? It would be something along the lines of this, where basically you can go from any cell in that land group to any other cell in that land group just by going through edges, all while staying within that island. So, for example, this is a valid island here. These would not be one island. These would be two separate islands here, because these cells, even though they can get to each other by going through edges while staying within the same region or land, they can't get to this part here. So this would be an island here, and this would be an island here, a separate island here. So every group of, or that's what an orthogonally connected group is. Also, water cells form one orthogonally connected region. So that means all water cells must satisfy what I was talking about, where basically you can go from any water cell to any other water cell just by going through edges, all while staying within the water region. And we also know no 2x2 area must be entirely water. So this is not valid here to have this all be water. Okay, what does the water and land mean? A digit's value in a land cell is the digit itself, while a digit's value in a water cell is the digit's opposite. For example, a 3 on a land cell, 3 on a land cell is 3. Sorry, a 3, the value of a 3 on a land cell is 3. And the value of a water cell, and in a water cell, it's negative 3. The value of a 3 on a water cell is negative 3. So we can't have a 2x2 area that's all water. You can have a 2x2 area that is all land, though, so keep that in mind, right? And that's an example of how the water and land work. And this is basically typical Nurikabe, where basically you have one chunk of all water cells, and then you have various islands throughout. And the water cells must be all orthogonally connected, with no 2x2 area that is all water. We have killer cages, where digits cannot repeat in a cage, and the values sum to the given clue. So, for example, these 3 digits these 3 cells must sum to negative 12. So we could potentially have all 3 water, and we have negative 3, negative 4, and negative 5, all adding up to negative 12. And again, you can't have repeats of digits in cages, but you can't have repeats of values either. You can't have repeats of digits at all in a cage, so keep that in mind. We have skyscrapers, where values of cells represent the elevation above and below sea level. Clues outside the grid equal the amount of numbers seen in that row or column from that vantage point. For example, suppose a row contains 3, negative 3, 2, 8, 5, 4, 7, 6, 1, and 9, and these were the values specifically -3, 2, -8, 5, 4, 7, -6, -1, -9. Then 4 values are seen from the left, because it would see the -3 first, it would see the 2, it would not see the -8 because that's below the 2 in value, it would see the 5 because it's greater than the 2, and the -8 and -3, it would not see the 4 because that's not greater than 5, and it would see the 7 because that's greater than all the previous digits in front of it, or all the previous values, I should say, in front of it. And then it would not see the -6, -1, -9 for those values. So from the left, it would see 4 values, the -3, the 2, the 5, and the 7. And from the right, 3 values are seen from the right. It would see -9, -1, and 7. And then it would not see any of these cells because the value of these cells are less than 7. And that's for any clue that's for any clue that's outside of the grid. So for this row, it must see 5 cells total. This cell must see 5 cells. This cell must see 6 cells, etc., etc. And those are all the rules. If you like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, I'm going to get started. Let's go. Okay. To add up to 2 or -2, what that means is there's going to have to be one. You're never going to have to add up to 2 or -2. You're never going to have 2 positives or 2 negatives add up to those values. Because you can't, what digits is going to form that? You can't, right? So you're going to have some break in both of these cells. Guaranteed. Now, one thing... I don't even know more about that. Okay. 16. You could have 16 and okay, let's do 3. 3 digits adding up to 3 and 3 digits adding up to 5. You're going to have some combination of positive digits and negative digits, because 3 unique digits, if they're all positive, would add up to at minimum 6. And so it's the same with this 5 and this 3. So there has to be some split here, there has to be some split here. Same with the -1. There's going to have to be some split there. This sees 6 cells going this way. What does that mean? I don't really know. This sees 2 cells going this way. So it definitely sees this cell. And then we'll see one more cell in that column. Oh, to get to 9. So can 2 digits add up to 9 with 1 being a negative? The answer is no. Because if one's a negative, you would have to have at minimum -1 and 10 to add up to 9. So these both have to be positive here. Interesting. Oh, and if that's the case, these both cannot be negative here. If these are negative, then they will not orthogonally connect to the rest of the water cells. So these both have to be water, which makes these both positive. Right? So can this ever be water? If this is water, this is land. And no matter how this works, if we have water here, that would force this to be land here. And then this would not, the water would not orthogonally connect to the rest of the waters. So this cannot be water, which means this is water here, this is land here. Can we have water here? If this is water here, this is land, and then this water will not orthogonally connect to the rest of the water. So we'd have to have water here, this is land, land. And this digit is 2 greater than this. This digit is 2 less than that. And one of these has to be a water to orthogonally connect the waters. And since we know there's a water here, to add up to 16 with one negative digit, it has to be 17 for the positives minus 1 for the negatives. So then this must be green, and one of these is green, one of these is blue. So we could have 1 with 8 or 9, and this is 8 or 9. This 1, 8, 9 triplet eliminates 1, 8, and 9 in the rest of the box and column. That's interesting. So remaining digits in this column have to be 2 through 7. These two digits add up to 9. These two digits must be too different from each other. So what are the possible combinations? If this is 3, 6, I think that works. Then you have 7, 5 have a difference of 2. 4 and 2 have a difference of 2. What happens if you have 2, 7? You also have 5, 3 as a difference of 2 and 6, 4 as a difference of 2. If you have 4, 5, that's the only one that does not work. Also, this sees 6 cells. If we have a positive green here, that means it's going to have to be 8 or 9. So add with the other 8 or 9, and subtracting the 1, you get 16. But you're only going to be able to see 3 total digits going this way. So this cannot be the green, which means this must be the 1 that's negative, and then this must be not blue, it's green, and the other 8, 9. So it sees this digit, so it must be able to see so this digit, what can this digit be? It obviously cannot be, it has to be less than, okay. It could be 4, technically, but then this digit would have to be greater for this to add up to negative 2. So let's mark this as red. For this to be greater than 2, yeah. So if this is 4, this would have to be negative 6. But then you would not be able to see 5 other digits behind the 4, because you would not have a positive 6 available. You would see 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 at most. So this cannot be 4. Therefore, this must be 2 or 3 here. 3, you could still see 6, 7, 8, 9 here behind this. This has to be negative, because it has to orthogonally connect to the rest of the waters. So because of that, the rest of this has to be land to be able to see all of these cells, because otherwise, if it's negative, we don't see these 3 cells because it's behind a digit that's a value that's going to be higher than negative. And then these are going to be higher. And these must be in order. So we could have 2. If this is 2, this is 4. If this is 3, this is 5. So if this is 2 and 4, we have 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 available. So this digit must be less than this, which is less than this, which is less than this, which is less than that, but it must be greater than the 2 or 3. So we could have 3 here, potentially, which is smaller than 2, which is greater than 2. 4, which is greater than 3. 5, which is greater than 4. We're acting like this is the thermometer. So it could be 7 at most, 9. This is less than that, so it's 8 at most. This is less than that, 7, 6, 5. Okay. Water. Now, this is interesting. Water is going to have to be at least one of these 2 digits. It could be both. Which means it's going to have to orthogonally connect to the water here, because otherwise this is going to be blocked. This is then going to go out to connect to the water here, and the reason why we know, that this is not one large island is that basically islands cannot have repeats on the island itself, right? Cannot have digits that repeat. And so then every island is at most 9 in length. So this could be water, and this has to be, one of these has to be water, at least. If we had water here and land here, this water will not orthogonally connect to the rest of the water. So the water must connect orthogonally that way. This could be 2 waters here, which means all of these could be water. That is potentially true. We have at least 2 waters here. I don't know if we have third. This sees 2 cells. So if this is 2 and 4, this has to be 3 and 6 here. This must only see 2 cells, though. So if it's 2 and 4, this has to be 7 and -5. It will see the -5, it will see the -4, and it will see the 3 and 6. So this cannot be 2 and -4 here, because it would see too many cells in the skyscraper this way. So this cannot be 2 and 5. It's 3 and -5 there, which means this must be a 2-7 pair here. And this is 3. This has to be 6 and 4. 6 and -4 to add up to 2. 3 and -5 to add up to. So this 3 and 5 eliminate 3 and 5 here. That's 4. This is 6. This is 7. That's 8. That's 9. That leaves that as -2 there. So this cell sees 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 here. This sees -4. It does not see the -5, but this cell is the other digit it sees, then it cannot see any of the rest of the cells. That's interesting. So we have 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 as possibilities in column 8. This is very likely a 7 here, because then the 8 and 9 would just have to be negative here. If it's 2, that's a lot of negative values that have to be there. So this is 6. We do not have 2 negatives available here, because to add up to 3, it would have to be 6 plus with a -1 and a -2 here. So this has to be green, which means the rest of this is all green. So then this is one island all by itself because there are no repeats on these islands, which means this is all water. Interesting. Which means we cannot have two waters here to get to negative 16, so one of these must be water and one of must be land. So this is 1, 8, and 9 as a possibility. This is 8 and 9 as the water here. The rest of this has to be 1, 2, 3, and 5. And there's no 2 here because of 2 in the box. So the remaining digits here have to be 7, 8, and 9 in row 9. And the remaining digits here have to be 1, 3, and 5 in box 8. That leaves this as 1, 3, or 5 with 4 and 6 also as possibilities. This is 8. It's very likely going to be able to see that. And the reason why one of these is land is we can't have a 2x2 area that is all water here. And this can only have one land possible, and that force is a 1 with a negative 8 and negative 9 to add up to negative 16. We have land here, or boundary there, I should say. How does this add up? It adds up to 3. So 6 and 1 is 7. Minus 7 at minimum is 0, so that doesn't work. 6 and 3 is 9. Minus 7 at minimum is 2, so that doesn't work. So it must be 6 and 5 here. That eliminates 5 in the rest of the box. That's 11 minus 8 is 3. That means this can't be 8. It's 9, which means this can't be 9. That's 8. 8 eliminates 8 here, so that's 9, which eliminates 8 and 9 here. It's 7, no 5 here. This can't be 1 or 3 because of the 1-3 pair in the row. 9 eliminates 9 in the rest of this box, so it's 1 and 8. 8 eliminates 8 here, so that's 1, which makes that 8. So that is the green here. This cannot be green there, it's blue. No 1 or 8 here. This can no longer be 2 greens adding up to 4. So because it would have to have 1 and 3 be there. So this must be a boundary here. But we don't know which one's land and which one's water here. This is water. So this has to be land here. Because we have a 2x2 area that's all water. That has 3 waters in it. This is land. 1 eliminates 1 here, so that's 3, which makes that 1. Okay. Remaining digits of column 4. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. And obviously this can't be 1 because of 1 in the box. So can this ever be a green and a blue to add up to 6? The answer is no, because 7 as the highest digit minus 2, which is the lowest digit, is 5, which is too small. So this must be 2 greens with 2, 4 as a pair. That eliminates 2, 4 in the rest of the column, so this is 1, 3, 7. This can no longer have a 1 available in this cage. So this cannot have 3 negatives adding up to a negative 8. So we have to have some split here. We don't know which, though, right now. Okay, 2 and 4 is here. Remaining digits in column 5. We have 2, 5, 6, 7, 9. No 2 here because of 2 in the 2, 4 pair in the box. No 7 here because of the 1, 3, 7 triplet in the box. Rest of column 6, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. So no 4, 8 here because of the 4, 2, 4 pair in the box and the 8 in the column, in the box too, I should say. This has a difference of 4. Okay, 3 and 7 work. Okay, this sees 3 cells. It's guaranteed to see the 8 and the 9. So all of these are not going to be seen. So they're not going to be seen here. It must see this one. So it will spot that. It will spot the 8 and the 9. This does not spot anything else here. This will definitely spot the 8 unless we have a 9 in front. I guess that's possible. This will not spot the -8. It will not spot the 1 here either. So these are not seen. Interesting. It will spot this one. It cannot spot any of these. This one will spot this one, obviously. This spots this one, obviously. Here and here. Mm-hmm. What else do we know? It's obviously not going to see the -3 or the -8 here. If this is negative, the rest of this also has to be negative. And this has to be -2 if that's the case. If it's positive, as long as this is 7, then any of these could be positive, right? Oh, so to add up to 5, we're going to have to have 1 negative and 2 positives. Actually, we could have 1 positive and 2 negatives, except can't. If we try to have 1 positive and 2 negatives, that 1 positive could be 9, but the minimum negatives would be -2, or the maximum negatives, the smallest digit negatives, would be -2 and -3, which adds up to 9 minus 5, which is 4, which is too small for this sum. So it has to be 2 greens and a blue here. So 2 digits adding up with a digit subtracting out. You could have 3, 9, 12 minus 7. That does work. 5, 6 minus... Oh, it can't be 6. What are the possible combinations there? There aren't very many, I feel. So 3, 9, add together minus 7. That does work. 5, 9 is too big. So 12 minus 7. Can you have 14? No. You would have to have 6 and 8, adding up to 14, but 8 cannot be here because of 8 in the box. And 8 can't be here because of 8 in the column. So 6 and 8 minus 9 does not work. So 14 minus 9 doesn't work. 12, again, minus 7 does work. 11. How do you have 11? You could have 2, 9, and 6. So that could work. So 12, you could have 3, 9, and 7. We don't have 4, 8 available. So 14 minus 9 doesn't work. It's 12 minus... there is no way adding up to 13. We don't have an 8 available. 12 minus 7 does work if it's 3, 9, and 7. We don't have 4, 8 available, and obviously to get to the 7, we don't have 5, 7 available. 11. So right now, what are the possibilities? We could have 3, 9, and 7. 11 minus 5 is 6, so that would be a negative 6. So you could have... So without 6, you don't have 8 available, so no 3, 8. You don't have 4 or 7 available here. So that doesn't work. And to have the negative 6, you can't have 5, 6. So it would have to be 2, 9, and negative 6. 10 minus 5 does work. We could have 3, 7, or 6, 4, minus 5. We don't have 9, 1 available. 9 minus 4. The negative 4 would have to be here. And we could have 3, 6 here. Okay. 8 minus 3. It would have to be 6 and 2 minus 3 here. Because 3 and 5 is not available, 1 and 7 is not available to add up to 7. Or to add up to 8. And then 7 and 2. 7 and 2 does not work. Because 7 would have to have either 1, 6 or 3, 4. And the 2 is guaranteed to have to be there. So the 4 can't be there. And the 4 can't be here because of the 2, 4 pair in the box. This can't be 3 because of the 1, 3, 7 triplet in the box. Okay. Hmm. What are these combinations? 3, 7 is 4. This can never be 5. If this were 5, it would have to have a 1 or a 9 there to be a difference of 4. So that doesn't work. 6 and 2 works. 9 and 5 works. Okay, so again, 3 and 7, 6 and 2, 9 and 5, and those are the only possibilities that work. Interesting. We have a difference of 4. This sees 1 here, can only see 1 more here. This is going to have, we're going to have 1 positive here, but it's not going to have to be greater than 4. Right, we could have a positive here. Well, actually, is it? It might have to be. If we have 3 positives here, then it could be 1, 2 here, and 9. Okay, yeah. So it's not guaranteed that we will necessarily see any of these cells. Okay. If this is negative, that's interesting. If this is negative, most of these are going to have, well, no, it could be something large there. It just can't be an 8 or 9. Because then that would be greater than the 7 here. Hmm. Oh, that's interesting. So, it's going to see 1, 2, 3 cells this way, going this way. It will not see the -8. It will not see the 1. If this were a 9 with a -7, it's only seeing 4 cells in this row. Right? It sees these 3 and then the 9 and then doesn't see anything past that. So this cannot be 9 here, which means we can't have 7 there. So we could have, or sorry, 5 there. We can't have 5 there. So no 9, which means no 5 there. So it must see these 4 at it. It will see one of these here. Probably. It will see 1, 2, 3 here. Can it ever see this cell? I think the answer to that is no. So this is going to be 3, 7 at most. Or it could be 6, 2. So this is going to be 3, 7 or 6, 2. Whatever, if it sees that digit there, that digit must be greater than 6 at minimum. So it would have to be 7. But if this is 7 at minimum, it's going to be able to see the -4, this digit here, and then this digit here, because if this is 7, this is 2, so it sees the 2 and the 7 here. If it's 9 here, then it's going to see that 9 with whatever 2 or 7's there, and then the -4, so that doesn't work. So this cannot be seen by this digit here. This cannot be a +7, because if this were +7, it would see this cell here, the 7, the 8, and the 9, no matter what. So this must be 6 and 2 here. So that's 6 that it sees, 2 it does not, -2. That eliminates 2 in the rest of the box and column. So it sees -2 here. That means this digit is going to have to be green. Because if it's not green, and it's negative, it will necessarily see one of these other cells here, when it cannot be. So this must be seen, and it's green. We don't know which one, though. This cannot be seen here, so this must be seen here, which means this is a land, and it has to be 7 or 9. So this, in column 9, we will not be able to see any of these cells here. Because this must be seen, we have to see the 6 here. We only have 5, 4, and 3 here left, so it must see all of them. Well, we could have a negative here. We could have a negative, like, right there. This has to be less than 5, though, so this is 5, 4, or 3. We don't know what these are. We have 3, 4, 5, 7, 9 as possibilities. No 9 here because of 9 in the column. So it must be able to see all 3 of these. It sees the 6, it sees this digit, and it cannot see that one. Because it can't see the same as that. Okay. So 6 eliminates 6 in the rest of the box. And column. Okay, now this is interesting. So what do these sums add up to? 3, 9 minus... So 12 minus 7 works. Can we have 11, though, anymore? No. Only 2 and 9 add up to 11 correctly with this negative 6. 3, 7, and 5 works, though. So 3, 9, and 7. So 3, 9, subtracting out 7 works. Oh, this cannot be positive 7. If this is positive 7, then it would see this cell and this cell here. And then it would see 4 cells in column 7. So 3, 7 minus 5 does not work. So that's 10 minus 5. We don't have 4, 6 available either. Minus 5. Minus 4, it would have to be 3, 6 minus 4. We don't have that available. And then subtracting out 3, that would be 8 minus 3, which would be 2, 6, which we don't have available. So this has to be 3, 5, and 9. Or 3, 9, and 7 here. And it's a negative 7. Oops. This is a negative 7. 3, 9 here. That eliminates 3 and 9 in the rest of the box. 7 eliminates 7 here, so it's 5. Makes that 7. 7 eliminates 7 in the rest of this column. And box, so this can't be 7, it's 9. That means this can't be 7 or 9, it's 3. 3 and 9, eliminate 3 and 9 in the rest of the box. No 7 either. No 3 here. 7 makes that 5. That means this can't be 5 here. This can't be 3 or 9. These both have to be negative, because 1 negative plus 2 positive is never going to get down to negative 8. So these are both negatives. Okay. These are both positive. This could be one large island. I don't know. 3 and 9 eliminate 3 and 9 in the rest of the row. So one of these is going to have to be a negative 7. Because it cannot see a positive 7 here. It would be blocking the 6 and the 9 here. And the negative 7 cannot be seen unless it's the first digit. So this must be blue here, which means this can't be blue, that's green. This is negative 7. That makes this 4 and then 5 to be seen. So we see in row 6, we see negative 7, we see 4, we see 5, and we see 6 and 9. Everything else will be blocked. 4 eliminates 4 in the rest of the column. 5 eliminates 5 in the rest of the column. Interesting. if this is land, we have to see that. Okay, so if this is land and water, it would have to be 9 and 1. We would definitely see this land. We would have to see that land, and everything in between would have to be blocked. This sees 4 and 8 at most. So before this, it has to see 3 other values. So 4, it's not going to see this negative. It's not going to see this 1, 2, or 3. So the ones in front. Oh. If this is 1, 9? I guess that could work. Let's just have all land here as possibilities. Okay. Never mind. The 9 here is going to have to be negative. The 8 here is also going to have to be negative. So these two minus this is going to get negative, or these negatives plus this positive is going to give you us negative 8. That's interesting. Okay, what are the combinations here? If it's positive and negative here, it has to be 9 at most, which is 13, and then negative 1 at the most, which gives us exactly 12. So this can't be 9, which would force that to be 1, and that would be 9. Otherwise, the other 2 digits have to be what? They have to both be positive. So no matter what, this is always going to be positive. That's interesting. So negative 1 plus 9 and 4 gives us 12. Otherwise, these 2 digits add up to 8. We don't have 1, 7 available. We don't have 3, 5 available, so it would have to be 2, 6 available if that's the case. Ha. Interesting. This cannot be on the same island as this. Because we already have a 4 here, and we have a 4 here. So this must be water here. Interesting. If this is 2, 6 as a pair, that means it would definitely, if it sees this cell, it would have to see that cell. So it can never see this cell. So this cell can never be seen, period. Okay. Because, yeah, if this is 2, 6 as a pair, that would force this to be 4, but the 6 is going to be greater than the 4 here. And so it would have to see the 6 there, at least if it sees the 4. And that's not going to be valid. So therefore, it cannot see the 4 here. This 2, 6, that would force this to be 5. That is interesting. I think that means this has to be land. Right? Because to be... Okay, so if this is 9, it has to see this cell only and none of these cells. And these are positive values. So this has to be a land there. If this is 2, 6 as a pair, it's not going to see that. So therefore, it's going to have to be blocked before then. It could be that that's 9. But either way, we're going to have to see a land here. I guess not technically. You could have water, water, right? You could have water, 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 and then this is the largest negative, or sorry, the smallest digit and the most positive, or the closest to 0 negative number here. Okay, so that's possible. Okay. Remaining digits of box 6, we have 1, 4, 5, 6, 8. No 6 here because of 6 in the column. Remaining digits of column 9. 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. Okay. No, this is water. Water has to be orthogonally connected, so it must connect that way. Because we know that's land no matter what. Oh, this has to orthogonally connect this way. Aha. Because right now we're blocked this way. So this has to be water. Which makes this -1 and 9. This can't be 1 here because of 1 in the row. 9 eliminates 9 here, so that's 3. That eliminates 3 there, so it's 9. It sees the 9, definitely. It cannot see the 3 here. It cannot see the 7. Can't see what these are. So this has to orthogonally connect for the water. One of these at least is going to have to be water. So this is, okay, so this sees the 9, and it must just see this one, so this must be land. And it's 4, 5, or 8. Remaining digits of box 4, we have 3, 2, 6, and 8. No 3 here because of 3 in the row. No 8 here because of 8 in the column. This sees the 9, and it sees 5 cells. So it must see all of these cells because none of the other cells after the 9, all the other cells after the 9 are blocked. One of these is going to have to be a water at least because the water must orthogonally connect. So that means this is guaranteed to be water because it has to see all 5 of these. So if one of these is water, it's going to have to see that water. And if this were land, that would not be able to see that. So we definitely know that's water. Remaining digits in column 2. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay. It could technically be -1, and then these are all positive. That is possible. So it does not see any of these. So this is land. This sees the 9 here, and then 5 more of these cells. 5 eliminates 5 in the rest of this row here. Mm hmm. One of these is going to have to be a 7 here. If this is a positive 7, that is not going to work in column 2. Because that 7 would block whatever this digit is, 2, 3, or 6. So it would not see 5 cells. So the 7 has to be negative, and that's the most negative you can get. So that's negative 7 there. That means this can't be 7 there. That eliminates 7 in the rest of the row. These cannot be seen. These cannot connect with these because we already have 3, 6, 9. We have 3 and 9 as a land. Oh, this is connecting to this. So this cannot be 8. Ooh, that is interesting. That means this digit, whichever it is, cannot be land. Because if it were land, it would be greater than 4 or 5. So this has to be water to not be seen, because none of these can be seen. So this is water. 3 cannot be land because it would be part of this island here. So this must be water. So we have water, water here. That's 3 waters here, which means this can't be water. This has to be land in this 2x2. And it has to be smaller than this. So it cannot be 6. It's 4. We have that's 4. This is 5. Water has to orthogonally connect. So that means this must be water there. So it sees 5 and then 9. That eliminates 5 in the rest of the column. 4 eliminates 4 in the rest of the column here. And it cannot be 3 here because it would see the 3, the 4, and the 8 and the 9 here, which is not valid. So we have that. We have this. This cannot be 7 as land because then it would see the 5, the 7, and the 9 here. So this must be 7 as water, which must orthogonally connect out. Um, 3, 5, 6 as a triplet eliminates 3, 5, 6 in the rest of the box. 4 eliminates 4 in the rest of the box here. Hmm. 4 eliminates 4 here, so that's 2, which means this can't be 2, that's 4. 2 eliminates 2 here. So we have 6 and 8 and 6 and 8 here. This again cannot be 3 because it has to be, it cannot see, it would see 3, 4, 8, and 9, which is 4 cells in this column already. So this is, therefore, these two digits must add up to negative 13 or negative 14 to be with a positive 5 or 6. Negative 13 cannot be gained from a negative 2. Oh, these are all negative. Interesting. So right now, Right. How does this add up? Negative 13 or negative 14? To get negative 13, it's 4, 9. Could work. So the possibilities here are negative 13, this would be then 5. And you would have to have 4, 9 there. Okay, that could work. Negative 15, negative 14 means this is 6. So I think this has to be 5, 9 no matter what. Because you don't have 6, 8 available to add up to negative 14. So this would be 4, 5 with guaranteed 9 here. That eliminates 9 in the rest of the column. So that works. So we have a guaranteed 5 here. It's 9 and 4, which is negative 13, plus 5, which is negative 8. Or 9 and negative 5, negative 9, negative 5, which is negative 14, plus 6, which is negative 8. Anyways, this cannot be 9 here because of 9 in the row. So this sees the negative 9. If it's positive here, that's not going to work. Because if it's positive, it would see the negative 9, the 2 or the 6 here, and then at most the 4 here. So this has to be water. And it must see 2 waters here. It sees the 1 and it sees the 4. So that means it must see negative 2 here, and then does not see negative 6, negative 5, or negative 7. Because those are too low. This is a 2x2 area. That's all water, so this cannot be water. That's land. 2 eliminates 2 in the rest of this row. 6 eliminates 6 in the rest of this row. So again, this sees negative 9, sees negative 2, does not see negative 6, 5, or 7 because negative 2 is greater than that. Sees 1 and then sees 4. So that's satisfied. This is negative 7. At least 2 of these are going to have to be negative. Could be all 3. This sees negative 7, 4, 5, blocks negative 8 and 1, sees 6, and then sees 9. This sees 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sees 5 and 9. There's going to have to be a water in one of these cells. Because if there isn't water in one of these cells, this island would have a repeat. So the one cell that it does not see is going to have to be the island cell. Actually, that's not true. It could see, these could all be water cells. Sorry. These are water cells, not island cells. I don't know what I'm saying there. At least one of these is going to have to be a water cell. But it could see all of the water cells here, and then it sees the 5. That is possible. So this is done. Let's mark these as... That's done. This is not quite done. This is done. This is done. This isn't quite done. This is done. This is kind of pretty much done. I don't know. Water has to orthogonally connect. So it has to connect this way because it's blocked here. So then this is water. This must be water here. This is a 2x2 area that has 3 waters in it, so this can't be water. That's land. So this is done as a region, as an island. Can we have 2 positives here, giving us a -1? Yes, 1 and 3 with -5. It does work. Huh. So this is a land, which means it cannot be 7, 8, or 9. Because if it's 7, 8, or 9, that's going to be too large for this skyscraper clue. Because it sees the -4, does not see the -5, that's less than -4. Sees the 7, or if this is 7, 8, or 9, it would see that and this cell here, which is 3 cells that it would see. So no 7, 8, or 9. It's 1 or 2, which means this almost certainly has to be positive. Right? If it's not positive, it has to be 2 negatives, but 2 negatives and a positive is never adding up to, with a 1 or 2 as the positive, is never adding up to -1. So this has to be land also. This is water, water. Again, one of these 4 is going to have to be water, because otherwise we'll have a repeat on this island. And to do that, then we have to orthogonally connect, and we're not going to be able to orthogonally connect except through here. So this is land and land. I think it has to be 1, 3, and -5 here. Get to -1. That means this can't be 5. It's 6. That makes this 5. -5 and -9 plus 6 adds up to -8. And it does only see the 6, the 8, and the 9 here. So this is done. 1 eliminates 1 in the rest of the column and row. This 6, 8 pair eliminates 6 and 8 in the rest of the column. So no 8 here. It has to be 2. 2 eliminates 2 here. That was what I was expecting, so that's 7 and 2 there. That eliminates 1 and 2 in the rest of this column. So where is the 1 in column 9? It has to be... Alright, sorry. 1 and 2 in the rest of this box. This 4, 7, 8 triplet eliminates 4, 7, 8 in the rest of the box. So this can't be 7 or 8. It's 9, which it cannot see. So therefore, this cannot be land. It's water. That means this must orthogonally connect as water that way. That means this must be water here, because it must be able to see all of these cells in a row. That's not true. Can't be land, though, because it has to see at least 2 out of these 3. So then this must be water, which means we have a 2x2 area that has 3 waters. This cannot be water, that's land. Which is fine. It sees the -4 and the 7 only, so that's satisfied. This is done as land. This is done as land. Can it be -4? Then it would not see the -7 or -8 here. And it would only see the -4, -1, 5, and 9. So no, cannot be -4 here. It's -8. You cannot have -7 here, because if this is -7, it sees the -8, -7, -4, -1, 5, and 9. That's 6 cells. So this must be -4 here. That's -7 there. No 4 or 5 here. This must be 8. No 4, 5, or 8 there. It must be 4. 1 and 7 eliminate 1 and 7 here. So it's 3, which makes this 1, which makes that 7. Okay. No 3 here. No 1, 5 here. Or 3, so this is 2. 2 eliminates 2 in the rest of the column. So no 2 here. Okay. Remaining digits of... So this is done now, too. It sees -8, -4, does not see -7, sees -1, 5, and 9, and does not see everything after the 9. Remaining digits of row 1. We have 3 and 4. Remaining digits of row 2, 1, 5, and 6. Remaining digits of row 3, 8, and 9. This can't be 9 because of 9 in the column, so that's 8, which makes that 9. That eliminates 8 here. Okay, so this is done, this is done, this is done, that's done, that's done, that's done, that's done, so it's just this. So to get to -12, you're going to have -6 and 7 with a +1. Okay. So this must be negative. That's blue. We have 2x2 areas that has 3 blues in it, so this is land. That's land. The blue must orthogonally connect, so this must be blue here, which means this can't be blue. This is land, which means it must see this cell, all 5 of these cells. So these all must be land. The water has to orthogonally connect, so that orthogonally connects that way. And to get to -12, so that's negative, this has to be +1. That means this can't be 1 or 2, it's 3. That eliminates 3 here, so it's 6. 6 eliminates 6 here, so it's 5. This is -6 and 7. Gives you -13, plus 1 is -12. So these are all the islands. We have the skyscraper clue in column 2 working fine. So this is satisfied. And that makes this a 5 here. 6 eliminates 6 here, so that's 8. Eliminates 8 here, so it's 6, which makes that 8. This is a 2-3 pair here. 3 eliminates 3 here. 1 eliminates 1 here, so this is 2, which makes this 1. The rest is just normal Sudoku. 2 eliminates 2 here, so it's 3 and 2. 3 eliminates 3 here, so it's 4 and 3. And 4 eliminates 4 and 5 here, so that's 6, which makes that a 4. And that's a solution. I don't know. This didn't feel like a very hard puzzle. Felt like just a normal hard puzzle, but I feel like all the logic here is there. It's available. And I don't feel like the execution is that bad either. So, I don't know. All the water is orthogonally connected. There are no repeats on islands. Yeah. I don't know. It just didn't feel that difficult to me. I'm not sure. All the waters are orthogonally connected. I mean, I have done a whole bunch of, like, these Nurikabe and also yin-yang puzzles. So I've done a lot of that stuff. But I don't know. It just didn't feel all that difficult. It felt hard, but not very hard. The very hard ones, I feel like I'm stuck, but I never felt like I was stuck at all here. I just like kept flowing. I'm like, oh, well, we have this, this logic here to figure that out, and this logic here to figure that out, right? It was very well designed. It's an excellent puzzle, very, very cool puzzle. I just didn't feel it was a very hard puzzle. I don't know. Let's just double check though. We see the -7, which is less than 1. It sees a 2, which is less than 2, which is less than 6, which is less than 9. But then a 9 is the largest digit, so that's in largest value, so we're not seeing anything after that, so we see 5 there. -9, which is less than -2. That's not less than -6, 5, or 7, so we don't see those. We see the 1, and we see the 4. That's 4 cells. We see the 6, then we see the 8 and the 9, because every other digit is either negative or less than 6. That's 3 values there. -8, -4. -7's is not greater than -4, so we don't see that. We see -1, 5, and then 9, and then everything after 9 is not seen. We see the 5, we don't see the 4, 3, or 2. Everything else is negative, and then we see the 9. So that's satisfied. This sees -7, 4, 5, no 1, no -8. It sees 6, does not see -2 or -3, and then it sees the 9. So that's 5 cells. Then 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. -4 does not see -5. That's less than -4. It sees 7, and then no other positives are greater than 7 here. So those are all satisfied. Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know. Just like as I said, it didn't feel like I was ever like just like sort of stuck on where to go, and that's why I felt like it was just a regular hard puzzle, not like a very hard puzzle. Because for the very hard puzzles, I feel stuck a lot, or not a lot, but at least a little bit, and I didn't feel like I was ever stuck here. It was always just sort of like, oh, well, where can we go from here, right? And then we always would find something pretty quickly to be able to spot that. So, I don't know. Pretty cool, though. I hope you enjoyed this solve, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.